Why, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your hosting guy, Zollin, Ironshield. Let's get right into it. We're doing one of those videos again with RiseToWar, where we check out locations and see the visual art of what they've done places and how they represented them in this game. And also, we do some lore tidbits as we go and have some fun. So welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you would. And let's check out. This is Osgiliath, or their rendition of it. You did not know Osgiliath used to be the capital of Gondor. When it got destroyed over time, then the capital was moved to Minas Tirith, which was technically a backup fortress city, kind of like Helm's Deep was for Edoras, okay? Except on a much larger scale. Minas Tirith is quite larger, obviously. And then, of course, Minas Ithil, or Minas Morgul later, or is the sister city of Minas Tirith on the other side, which technically used to be Condor's, but no longer is, if you didn't know, right? So, anyway, pretty cool. We already talked about that one in the last video, though. So going back over to Osgiliath here, let's go ahead and check out their little information card. Beautiful art, obviously inspired by the movies. They have the rights to the movies, which is super cool. One of the reasons I like this game. It's fun to see stuff that we recognize from Peter Jackson's New Line Cinema series and Warner Brothers. All right, Osgiliath, the former capital city of Gondor, remains a strategic location for men thanks to its proximity to Mordor and its position along the path to Minas Tirith. Who said this line? The chief city of Gondor, of which this was only a fortress, for that is the ruin of Osgiliath. And some people say this differently. I've always said it kind of like the movie. A lot of the movie characters say Osgiliath, but Osgiliath could be how you say it. On either side of the Anduin, which our enemies took and burned long ago. The Return of the King, Book 5, Chapter 1. It's kind of cool that they show that stuff. I love that. All right, next place we're going to see. And also, little side note, names of things. I always tell people, don't freak out over it too much. I've heard so many fans of Lord of the Rings. There's so many names in Middle-earth. I've heard many fans that say things, slightly differently or completely differently or whatever. Again, a lot of times if it's something, I go back to the source. If I can go and find Tolkien read it himself or how he said it. That's usually how I do it. Kind of an interesting one is we're going to look at the city of Peligar. It's another Gondorian fortress city, which is glorious. So we can look at this while I finish my little story. But like Aragorn, right? I used to always say kind of like Aragon, right? Which is a lot of the movie. If you listen in the movie, Peter Jackson movies, a lot of them are like Aragorn. They don't really say the R, right? But then, of course, people are like, well, what about the Aragon series, right? With, like, the dragon, right? Great series. Great. Came later, obviously. But if you actually, I've gone back and listened to Tolkien say it a few times, and he definitely drops off the R. It's not very hard. It's not a hard Aragorn. Like, people are like, it's Gorn. He really goes Aragorn, right? It, like, almost turns into Aragon, right? Anyway, it's a side note. It's really not that big of a deal is what I'm pointing out. Some people have said it. I've kind of tended to switch it to Aragorn now because a lot of people say it like that, Aragorn. But Aragon, I mean, you clearly hear Gimli yell, Aragorn, in a few of the battles, in how he said it. And again, Aragon is how I used to always say it. And then people were like, oh, you're saying it wrong? But then I went listen to Tolkien and I'm like, it's kind of how he says it. Except that the R is there. So there's kind of like a nice middle ground. It's kind of like around the middle. But anyway, not important. Peligar. Peligar is the city that gets sacked by the Corsairs when they're coming up the river to attack Minas Tirith. And also, it's the city that technically gets saved by the Oathbreakers when they come out of the mountain with Aragorn and the Grey Company. If you didn't know, Aragorn actually had a lot of his rangers with him. The Lord of the Rings Online goes into this. And if you don't know, on our channel, when we do Kinship Days, there's an epic battle we do, which is called Retaking Peligar. And that is the city that we're in the Lord of the Rings Online video game. But let's bring up this information thing. As you can see, very cool artwork. They've got like a whole triangle thing going on. Peligar, or you can say it how you want it, but I think Peligar is pretty good. Not Pelipper, not the Pokemon. We're not going there. Peligar. Okay, is a city of Gondor and its main port. Built by the Númenóreans of old, it remains a strategic location for this realm of men due to its proximity to Harondor and the southeastern lands of Corsairs and the evil men. It's pretty simple statement about it, but it is very important. It is kind of like the chokehold of the Rain River, okay? So it's the river that leads from the ocean into Minas Tirith, right? And all the lands of Minas Tirith. So again, when they were burning, all the ships were burning and they saw that, obviously the Aragorn was supposed to be somewhere over here on the mountains looking down at that river, right? And then there's the whole thing where he shoots the arrow and, you know, you shoot a warning shot past the bowman's ear, which I don't think even happened in the book, but it's hilarious. And then, you know, Gimli hits his bow and he misses and kills the guy in the back. And that guy in the back was actually Peter Jackson. I don't know if you guys noticed. When he's like, oh, and he like falls over dead. That's actually Peter Jackson. And on a side note with that real fast, there's actually an evil commander in this game, which is a nod at Peter Jackson. I'm almost 100% sure. It's this guy right here. He looks just like the guy that grabs the arrow and dies. And I don't know if you noticed, he looks quite a lot like Peter Jackson too. His name is Azur Kor, but I still think it's a compliment to Peter Jackson, or at least a nod at it. So, side note. But yeah, pretty cool, huh? So moving on from there, Pelagor is very important, but let's go down and check out Horondor Keep. You know what? Where is you know what I realized? I don't think they have in this game mode. Yes, I think it's only the Rings of Power game mode. There's no Corsairs capital. That would have been cool to see. But that's okay. We'll go see something else. All right, these passes are always cool. Let's see. We need one more cool thing for this video to see. I already showed you guys Dol Amroth in the other video. So, but why don't we go to, let's see. Trying to find another good spot. Where is the Path of the Dead? Oh, the Stone of Erich and Dunharrow. Let's look at those. Those are cool. We didn't look at those when we saw Rohan. So the Stone of Erich is very cool. You can get to the Stone of Erich also. I say Erich. I mean, that's how I've heard it said by other people. What do you guys think? Leave a comment if you think it's different. But it's pretty cool. It's where the Sworn Oath happened, where the Oathbreakers broke that oath in the history, and then they were cursed to never die. So basically their souls got tied to Middle-earth and they couldn't be at peace, right? There's a whole thing about elves and men, by the way, the differences, and why being mortal is actually a gift, because men basically immediately get to go to the afterlife of heaven, where elves are kind of tied to the world. My friend Matt from Nerd of the Rings has a fantastic video on that, so I'm going to shout out his video on the elves lifespan, or elves. I forget the exact title, but it's very cool. Check it out. But he talks about that a little bit more. But again, the humans get cursed, so they're not able to leave, which is why when Aragorn releases them from their basically curse after they fulfilled helping Gondor, they're released, right? And I believe the reason why he didn't keep them for the battle that then happened to the Black Gate was because in the lore from the book, from remember, is that they were promised to be released if they helped save Gondor, which was Minas Tirith, the capital at that time, right, and help win that war. I think it's funny when Gimli's like, whoa, very handy and tight spot these lads. Maybe don't give away yet, right? In the movie. I don't remember if he says it in the book exactly like that, but Aragorn was being basically just to allow them to be released at that time. So anyway, kind of cool. So if we click it here, we can see the beautiful art of the Stone of Erich here. Let's see what they say about it, just to see if I'm similar. Is a large standing stone where the king of the mountain swore an oath to Isildur in the very early days of Gondor. It is located just south of the White Mountains, near the Paths of the Dead, where it remains the dead men of Dunharrow reminds them of the reason for their cursed fates. Beautiful art. Fantastic art. It's awesome. All right, and then we'll look at Dunharrow real quick, which is a little bit farther over the mountain here. Dunharrow, which again is clearly inspired by the movie. It's not exactly like the movie. They've obviously done some stuff themselves, but looks pretty good all things considered. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. I think it's cool. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Earn my daily reward here. So let's go ahead and check it out real quick. Dunharrow, Located on a cliff top in the White Mountains, Dunharrow is a fortified Rohirrim refuge, a perfect location for horse masters to regroup before war. It also borders the road to the paths of the dead. Also, really cool artwork. Look at that artwork. It's awesome. And then it has some a quote here from the who quoted it. I really wish they'd say who did the quote too, but that's okay. The ferret. Oh gosh. The ferret. I don't know who said this. I'm trying to remember in the book. I was gonna do the voice for them, but we'll just read it in a Rohirrim voice. The Ferrenfin men called it a green mountain field of grass and heath, high above the deep delved course of the snowboard, laid upon the lap of the great mountains behind. The Return of the King, Book 5, Chapter 3. I think that's cool they put those there. And also this really neat art, how they have the little path coming up. I don't see the little statues are kind of there, I think. But those scary looking statues. And then they go over there, go into the thing. Cool. Well, my friends, have a great day on Middle Earth. Thanks to my Patreons for the support. I'll see you in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. Subscribe button's there. Next episode over there. If you're enjoying the series, words, my tongue is tying. Have a great day, Miller. Stay happy. Thank you so much for watching. Voiceover series again, next episode. Subscribe, like, leave a comment. Appreciate it so much. Have a great day and stay happy, my friends. See you in the next episodes.